All right, I had some trouble hitting buttons this morning, everyone. Good morning. Hello. I hope you're doing well. My name is Andrew Hall. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. Those were a couple of thumbnails from some recent posts I've done on Only Sky. If you want to check Only Sky Media, my name's Andrew Hall, of course. You can check out some of my work. They're funny, as you can probably guess from some of the thumbnails you just saw. But what isn't funny, and this is going to be a really awkward transition, I don't know how people here in the United States of America deal with being in the United States of America and speaking as a citizen of the United States of America. I don't even know how I can get by with stories like the shooting, the mass shooting in Buffalo, New York, past Saturday. 10 people dead, 13 shot, due to a unhinged young man with a gun and body armor. All the links to this story in the description below, in case you haven't heard about it. A white 18-year-old wearing military gear and live streaming with a helmet camera opened fire Saturday afternoon at Tops Friendly Market. That's a supermarket in a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York. A gunman live streamed the shooting to a small audience on Twitch for several minutes before the platform cut off his feed. According to the police, the gunman began shooting in the parking lot and then moved inside the store. Security guard Aaron Salter fired multiple shots, but none penetrated the gunman's armor. The gunman killed Salter and then stalked through the aisles shooting shoppers. Look, everyone, I'm not an expert in body armor, but I know that the kind of body armor that you can buy online will typically stop pistols, right? Will stop that kind of weapon. They may not stop something like an assault rifle or a regular rifle, but something from a pistol, sure. They will typically stop that kind of bullet, that kind of weapon. Who was the shooter? Police have identified the gunman as Peyton Gendron of Conklin, New York. Conklin is a small town about 200 miles southeast of Buffalo, not far from the Pennsylvania state line. So, what else do we know about Peyton Gendron? Does he have any kind of checkered history that would prevent him from getting a firearm in any other industrialized country? I'm glad you asked, everyone. I'm going to jump down to the second paragraph. The racially motivated attack came a year after the gunman was taken to a hospital by state police after making threats involving his high school, according to the authorities. He wasn't charged with a crime and was out of the hospital within a day and a half, the police said. But the revelation raised questions about his access to weapons and whether he could have been closer supervision by law enforcement. So let's see. I just want to go back over that because this just seems crazy. This just seems crazy even for this country. So he was taken to a hospital by state police after making threats involving his high school. And he was in a hospital for a day and a half. Do you know what has to happen for you to be put into a hospital for a day and a half here in the States? It's a lot. You have to be dangerous, because having been in the mental health field for 20 years, I've brought people into emergency services and then within a couple of hours been told just to bring them back home, just to take them back, that they're fine. So if the kid was there for a day and a half, then something major was happening. But yet that still did not prevent him from getting a gun legally. Oh, yes. Well, as the Independent noted, the gun used in the Buffalo supermarket shooting was bought legally, but modified. Of course it was modified. So part of what what was his name again? Peyton Gendron. Peyton Gendron was a rabid racist. He had, of course, a manifesto that focused on anti-Semitism, the Great Replacement theory, which, in case you don't know it, it's this crazy conspiratorial theory, harkens back to Hitler's Germany about how white people are being replaced by black and brown skinned people. But the thing is, and here's the twist in case you don't know how crazy this theory is, apparently conspiracists who believe in this think that obviously the black and brown skinned people can't be smart enough. So the Jews are behind orchestrating the whole thing. Now, that just sounds like crazy sauce to you and me. But this particular theory, this Great Replacement, has been gaining more and more popularity here in the States. This is from the Associated Press. Polls find 1/3 of adults say they think an effort is afoot to replace native-born Americans with new immigrants for electoral purposes. The Great Replacement theory appears to have evolved from taboo topic to commonly held a belief, according to new data. With anti-immigrant rhetoric bubbling over this year's critical midterm elections, about 1 in 3 adults believes an effort is underway to replace U.S.-born Americans with immigrants for electoral gains. About 3 in 10 also worry that more immigration is causing U.S.-born Americans to lose their economic, political, and cultural reference, according to a poll by the Associated Press, Nork Center for Public Affairs Research. Republicans, no surprise there, Republicans are more likely than Democrats to be crazy. I'm sorry, that was a little bit of editorialization there. Republicans are more likely than Democrats to feel loss of influence because of immigration, 36 to 27%. I cannot believe that there are 27% of Democrats who actually believe this claptrap. There's only a 9% difference between Democrats believing in the Great Replacement theory and Republicans believing in the Great Replacement theory. Now, you might not be surprised at this, but if you believe in one crazy conspiracy, you're more likely to believe in other crazy conspiracies. And this is true with the Great Replacement theory, is that conspiratorial people who believe in conspiracies gravitate to this particular twaddle. Am I going to use that bold word? This bold word? Yes, I will. In all, 17% of the poll believe that native-born Americans are losing influence because of the growing population of immigrants, and that a group of people in the country is trying to replace native-born Americans with immigrants who agree with their political views. That number rises to 42% among the quarter of Americans most likely to embrace other conspiracy theories. Yeah, and we know there's a scholarly consensus about people who believe in conspiracy theories that they do not feel in control of their own lives, that this kind of instinctual urge to reach out and grasp for conspiracy theories is the fact that they do not feel empowered in their own life, that they do not feel agency. And how do they act? And what's their reaction? They believe in conspiracy theories. That gives them power. That makes them feel like they have power. While Republicans worry more than Democrats about immigration, the most intense anxiety was among people with the greatest tendency for conspiratorial thinking. That's defined as those most likely to agree with a series of statements, like much of people's lives is being controlled by plots hatched in secret places, and big events like wars, recessions, and outcomes of elections are controlled by small groups of people who are working in secret against the rest of us. In a little pull quote down there, an audit in the state of Georgia found that fewer than 2,000 instances of non-citizens attempting to register and vote over the last quarter century, and none of those people succeeding. See, facts, surprisingly, fly in the face of this particular conspiracy theory. Now, why is it that the Great Replacement theory is so popular now? Sure, we're at the end of a pandemic or heading towards the end of a pandemic, and we all know people go a little crazy once pandemics wind down. So that's part of it. But is there a stupid industrial complex pumping out stupidity? Yes, there is. Let's take a look and a listen to Tucker Carlson expounding on the Great Replacement theory, because he is one of the main talking heads that smears the great conspiracy theory all around this country. Here he is.
Because this is one of about 10 stories that I know you've covered, where the government shows preference to people who have shown absolute contempt for our customs, our laws, our...
You know what he doesn't? So people who show contempt for our laws would be people who charged the Capitol on January 6th. But of course, Mr. Tucker Carlson here, I'll just call him Sleepy Tucker Carlson because his eyes are closed at this point. He's really meaning people who are just trying to get to a better place, trying to move to the United States of America. People who take the Statue of Liberty's motto of "Give us your hungry," your people who need to go away from their homes into a bright, shining place here.
System itself, and they're being treated better than American citizens. Now, I know that the left and all the little gatekeepers on Twitter become literally hysterical if you use the term replacement, if you suggest that the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with...
And here's another thing about Tucker Carlson, and this is a fact, everybody, that Republicans cannot win general elections anymore without voter tampering, without trying to keep people away from voting, from disincentivizing voting. And so they have to create these kind of conspiracy theories about why they can't win elections anymore. And it has to be because the big bad Democrats are bringing in black and brown skinned people.
New people, more obedient voters from the third world. But they become hysterical because that's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it, that's true.
All right, I think we've seen enough of Mr. Tucker Carlson. And that is just an example of white replacement theory right there. Look, everyone, this is a new time for the show. Usually we're doing this at 9 a.m. I'm working full time now, so we're switching it to 8 a.m. It's really early. We're doing the after party after show at 8:15 on the other channel. I hope I have the right link in the description below. I don't know if I do or not. We're going to find out pretty soon. You can check out the show, the after party after show, starting at 8:15 on the Naked Diner podcast channel. That link to the channel is definitely in the description below. And hey, in case you want to throw a couple of shekels in, a couple of pennies to help support the channel, that would be great because there's no ads on the show. There's no ads. So I hopefully will see you at 8:15 in less than 2 minutes. And if not, then I will see you tomorrow, hopefully at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Take care, everyone. Be good. And I'm going to throw a cat video. Am I going to throw a cat video? Let's do a cat video and then a thank you video.
I'm a Sunni Muslim, and I thought Bubu was Shia because he's a Persian from Iran. But it turns out that Bubu believes that there is only one God, and that is himself.